Welcome in, everyone. This is Sean with MTG808 Jr., and I've got Eric here.
Hello, hello.
And Mike.
Oh!
And it is with heavy hearts that
Yes.
we are recapping our final Youth Standard Pauper tournament for the foreseeable future.
Yes.
Yeah. We are switching over to Artisan for our next one, which will take place after Throne of Eldraine comes out. Yeah, we're going to take a look at the top four from our most recent tournament. 10 kids?
10 kids.
Yeah,
Yes, 10 kids.
that's a pretty good turnout. That's more than our last scholarship tournament.
It's our very first one at the new mini queue as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have their new location over at Pearl Ridge Mall. It looks real fancy.
Yeah.
Yes,
from
sir.
what I see. But we had Juggernaut Jensen here in first place. Liam came in second place. Of course, Jensen was playing blue-black. Midrange. Liam playing white-black. That seems to be the color pair he's been gravitating towards lately. Sydney with mono-white aggro, and then S, different from her twin sister, A, came in fourth. So we'll be taking a look at their decks here in a moment. First, before that, if you want to support the channel, support the project, of course, watching the videos, hitting like, hitting subscribe, all that fun stuff definitely supports the project. But if you want to go above and beyond, check out the Patreon page. We are 100% patron funded, so we would not be able to do what we're doing without the support of our patrons. So even if you want to chip in just $1 a month, it'll go a long way towards helping us do what we do and provide these awesome opportunities for the youth here on Oahu. All right, shameless plug aside, we will be linking the deck lists for all of these in the description of the video, so you can check those out. But we're going to be switching over here, starting off with S's build of blue-black. Now, I give her props here, right? For this is a very distinct build, different from the build that Jensen was playing, right? She seems to be priding herself on kind of coming up with her own thing, right? Which is awesome. So while there are a lot of cards here that we see overlap, like Cloudkin Seer, the removal package, it is very different than what we've seen Jensen do well with.
It looks more of a control deck than anything.
Yeah. Yes. But so this is her first time making the top four, right? The elimination rounds, and you guys said she was very, very hungry for it.
She's hungry.
So
actually, I think this is the second time because
I don't think we made a video on it. It was one of the ones right before the scholarship tournament that she made top four. Yeah, but you guys were saying that her previous lists were kind of more spread out, right? Like
a lot of one-ofs,
a lot of two-ofs, and we're seeing her kind of focus in on, okay, I know that these are my best cards. I want to play more copies of these. So it really is something special getting to see these players kind of develop, right? They're kind of learning the ins and outs of the game, and this list definitely reflects that. So it is. I don't see any questionable cards here, right? These are all very.
Those are all things I would put in.
Yeah. And they're the differences between the blue-black list. It's really a matter of preference, I think. So, congratulations to S coming in fourth. Anything else you guys want to say about this deck?
I think if you want to make it a bit lighter on the Ill-Gotten Inheritance, I don't think you exactly need 4 because you're trying to win during the late game. I think 1 or probably 2 or 3 would be really good, but you could add maybe more Sorin's Thirst or more interaction in the early game.
Well, like, just looking at this, it seems like there's no shortage of interaction, but the thing that the deck is a little bit light on, from my perspective, is card advantage.
Yeah.
So if you want to trim a little bit on the win conditions to get a little bit more
card draw,
card draw in there, right?
Or you could,
we got Locket, Witching Well, Winged Words, and Cloudkin Seer.
So maybe just put it on the Winged Words or Cloudkin Seer.
Yeah, I think Cloudkin Seer it might be the most powerful card in the format. So I think playing 4 of that would be advisable. Well, it's gone. But yeah, Ill-Gotten Inheritance is one of those cards where, like, sometimes it is just going to straight up win you the game on its own, but a lot of the times it's it's not going to be as impactful as a creature, right? Like you play it and it feels great, like, oh, I'm draining them for 1 each turn. But if it's not winning you the game through that way, it might be better off as another card.
Definitely.
When it does enter, it does nothing basically, so it just takes time to be good.
It's got to be in play for like 4 or 5, 6, 7 turns before it's really like.
You can imagine it like a ginger brute with haste and lifelink, if you really want to.
Or without haste.
Oh, right.
All right. Cancel. No. All right. Whatever. Okay. So that was S's blue-black deck. And in third and fourth was S and Sydney.
Yeah.
Sydney playing trusty mono white.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We were seeing mono white struggle to make it to the elimination rounds for the past couple weeks. I think largely because like the mono white decks kind of struggle against removal, but I really like the direction that Sydney took the deck in response to that, right? Adapting some of the card choices, right? You know what's really good against removal? Equipment and just playing a ton of 1-drops.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I spent 1 mana on this thing, and you spent 3 mana to kill it. Good luck dealing with my 2 other 1-drops that are in play, right? So, what is this? 16 1-drops, and then 3 removal spells. Or, I'm sorry, 3 equipment.
Yeah.
Right? And then we see Flutterfox, which gets turned on by Axe, Pacifism, Ginger Brute, and Glaring Aegis. So I like that. That's a good healthy number, right? When we were first analyzing Flutterfox, it was like, well, if you're only playing Pacifism, then it's not that great. But you know, having all these other ways to turn it on as well, I think Flutterfox now becomes the best 2-drop that White has access to. And then I love Parhelion Patrol on the top end, especially if you're playing the equipment. But yeah, very solid adaptation of mono white. And then in the board, God's Willing is good against the removal decks. So is Raise the Alarm and Foot Soldier. So, yeah. Really like the way that Sydney has adapted the deck. And I think that's really just a sign of, like, you know, as the metagame shifts and evolves, you have to build your deck in consideration of that metagame. All right. Anything else about this deck before we move on?
No. Pretty. I don't know. I like it. Well, because I know the build before this was running Loyal Pegasus. We just when you're looking at the deck, she kind of figured that Loyal Pegasus doesn't really do anything unless there's more creatures. So and it'll pretty much rely on Ginger Brute on turn 2. So she decided to scrap the Loyal Pegasus and go back to Fairy Guide Mother.
Yeah, Loyal Pegasus is not my favorite Magic card. I like all my creatures to for sure do stuff. Especially it's especially weak against the removal heavy decks because if they only have 1 removal spell and you have 2 creatures in play and one of them is Loyal Pegasus, it's just they're essentially killing the Loyal Pegasus by stranding it.
Yeah.
All right, so I like the card choices. Congratulations to Sydney breaking into the top 4 again. Second place we had Liam. Liam's been putting up some good results lately. So
he's been consistent.
He's been really liking the white-black color pair. He played tokens in the scholarship tournament, right?
Yes.
And here we see he's playing tokens again. One kind of standout when I first saw this list is he's playing lots of the token generators, but there's no like go wide payoffs in the deck. So where are they? Inspired Charge costs 4.
I know there's a +1/+1 counter one.
Inspiring Captain costs 4, gives your whole team +1/+1. Inspired Charge instant costs 4, your whole team gets +2/+1. Right? And then Civic Stalwart. There's one from Throne.
I think it was I forgot what the spell was. It was like a
there's the
circle, yeah.
Oh yeah. You put a +1/+1 counter on it. So like all of these are pretty good payoffs for going wide. And I mean, as we've said, Ill-Gotten Inheritance feels really good when you play it, but it seems a little bit out of place in this deck because ultimately I think that the token deck needs to be the aggressor in most matchups.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's not trying to take the game long. So, you know, resolving an Ill-Gotten Inheritance against like blue-black control, they might not have many ways to kill it, but they might just kill you before Ill-Gotten Inheritance
even does anything
wins, right? So if you're just playing in that slot instead, something that synergizes with the rest of the game plan, I'm wondering if that will allow the tokens to kind of go under the kind of decks that are trying to take the game longer. But I like this strategy. It seems well positioned against the aggro decks, right?
Yeah.
You know, having your tokens, your tokens are sort of card advantage if they're able to trade with the small creatures, and then the orator, if it lives, it kind of lets you race the other aggro decks. So yeah, tokens, I think it's a fine strategy. Would love to see a little bit more synergy in the deck. But congratulations to Liam putting up another solid finish.
Yeah.
And I do think that if he wants to play this archetype in Artisan, there's going to be stronger payoffs.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Jensen coming in first. Juggernaut Jensen.
Yep.
All right. So, not too much has changed. Is this card for card what he played at the scholarship tournament? Do you know if he made any changes? This is just card for card.
Yeah.
Well, getting broke.
Yeah, I mean, just continuing to dominate. Yeah, I think that the sideboard is the same as well. So, you know, he really likes the amass package. Got a good mix of removal and card advantage, and then of course the devious cover up to kind of solidify the long game. Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, Jensen continuing to flex the planeswalker muscles with the,
make you
the
proud.
blue black. Yeah, the blue black. I'd be curious to see what build of blue black he plays in Artisan.
Yeah.
There's lots of different options you got for that too, so.
Yeah. I mean, like, in my heart of hearts, I want Disinformation Campaign to be really good, but I think it might just be underpowered compared to the other decks. Like, looking over the uncommon list, it's like, dang, the power level is just so much higher than in Standard Pauper.
I think right after War of the Spark, like, just all of the cards in uncommon got way too powerful.
Even common,
It's a really big jump between the commons and uncommons. All right, so that was Jensen, and then Mr. Black, the
Hanalani teacher.
Hanalani teacher who
Yes, sir.
has a fledgling but growing club over at Hanalani. This was your build of blue red that you let him use for the end boss match. Jensen did manage to take him down.
Yes.
I didn't get to watch the match, but did you see him using some of the stuff that we talked about after he played you at the scholarship tournament?
Oh, I don't know. I think how I play the deck and versus how Mr. Black played the deck is totally different. Largely because like you know, is not Mr. Black hasn't played Jensen or is aware of his playstyle, so like it's just really how he piloted the deck. I don't know. That's
So Jensen played well.
Jensen played well, so he knew what he was doing because him and I had like those long matches.
Yeah, that was if you're ever interested in seeing a good old game. Control mirror match, go watch the end boss match from the scholarship tournament. We did broadcast the entire tournament.
If you think that was long, in the Swiss, Jensen played against S, and that was pretty grindy as well.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Did he win?
He won.
Yeah. He had, the main deck devious cover ups, I think, in a matchup like that are just the edge that you gotta have. All right, so that is it for Standard Pauper.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah. So just looking back, I think Standard Pauper accomplished what we set out to have it accomplish. I think, right? Like this batch of. I'd say if we include all of our players that have actively attended tournaments in like the last year, there's maybe like 20 of them.
Yeah.
And that set of kids that have been playing Standard Pauper, I think getting them from 0 to where they are now, Standard Pauper was very good at accomplishing that.
It's a nice introduction for them to get into the game too.
Yeah. I do think that you know, we picked Standard Pauper not only because it was accessible, but it had a really strong focus on card advantage and combat math, right? And I think like as we transition to Artisan, those things will still be present, maybe a little less emphasized, as we see like the power level ramp up, and it's going to be a lot more about like synergies and like building your engine to the end game. But ultimately, I think that's kind of the direction that Standard Magic has been kind of drifting in for a while, right? Like, so I think that, you know, Standard Pauper is very far removed from regular Standard. I think Standard Artisan is going to much more closely resemble
regular Standard.
So, this is our farewell show to Standard Pauper.
Oh man!
So it's been fun, and we're looking forward to Artisan. So if you're excited about Artisan and you haven't yet checked out our videos, we're in the middle of recording Standard Artisan Seed series, and by seed we mean like starting points for decks. Right, what we think are the kind of cornerstones or building blocks for the format. So go check that out if you're interested in Artisan, and
I mean, if anyone out there decides to start getting to Standard Pauper, you know, or start something along like this, please hit us up. You know, we're happy to help you out get Standard Pauper or whatever it is you want to get going for your youth community over there.
Yeah. I know that there's a handful of subscribers to the channel that are just like, you know, casual Magic players that like playing a cheap format. And, you know, I hope you don't feel like we're leaving you out to dry by transitioning to Artisan, but I do think that Artisan is similarly accessible cost-wise, but will, you know, have a much higher power ceiling. So... yeah, hopefully you'll be along for the ride with us, but it's been fun. All right, any final thoughts, gentlemen, or is that a wrap?
Oh man,
it's the end.
I enjoy Standard Pauper. You know, and it was cool too to see where the kids started, and like from transitioning to from Standard Pauper to Artisan. Yeah, it just shows like they're willing to give a new format a new try, because a lot of the kids, you know, like, of course a lot of these kids, you know, they still play like at F&M, so like, you know, this probably would be a good set for those who have, like you said, for those who have yet to play like regular Standard. This is a good way to get them into playing big boy Standard.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just look forward to seeing what the kids come up with. And
because we were on the fence of switching formats, and then when we asked the kids, it was a pretty resounding like, yeah, we wanna try something new. So, you know, hopefully this goes well. I mean, worst case scenario, it completely flops, and we can always go back to Standard Pauper. But I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see where this goes. So thanks for sticking around.
Yes.
Jam that like button, subscribe button, check out the Patreon page to give us to throw some support our way, and we will catch you next time for all the future Artisan videos. Peace.
See ya.